Hello, all my chickadees. Welcome back to my nest. Okay. I am very, very excited. Do you know why I'm very excited? Hmm. It could be that this game right here. I didn't even know this thing was a coming out, and it came out, and now I literally just seen it got posted, and I immediately had to play it. I downloaded it immediately, and we are playing it right now. I'll probably even post it tonight, throwing off my schedule, but I don't care. This game, as Alizarin Red, is a special game. You want to know why? Well, this game is a special for the 5th anniversary of Deep Inside, which was published in 2020 by Banya. Now, anybody who's been around for a long time, at least on my channel, knows that Deep Inside was one of the first games I played on my channel. Um, well, maybe not the first, but one of the first, and it always left a deep impression on me. How I play some RPG Maker games has stemmed from how I played Deep Inside. I'm always thinking about it, and any Banya game that comes out, I immediately have to play, okay? It's a thing. Banya also made Emerald Wasp and Koi and Dream Quartz, and I played almost all of their games, including parodies. They do cute little parody games. But this one is a kinetic novel, and it is going to it it looks like we're going to get some information about the characters from Deep Inside, like Gareth, for example. I do recommend you guys go and check out Deep Inside, play it yourself, or watch my very, 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 very old Let's Play that I really need to redo. You can go see Baby Sparrow, but you might not know what's going on with this game, and for everybody else or people who want to stick around anyway, please grab a plushie, snuggle up, get you something to drink, and we're going to dive into this. I am very excited. I might not remember everything about Deep Inside because it's been so long, but I do remember the outline of it, and I'm so excited. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I banished myself to the corner. But looking at the cover here, is this, I think the blonde is Gareth, right? I think the blonde is Gareth. Is this supposed to be Zachary? Because I know the MC had black hair. Or is it backwards? Because I think this is Gareth. I'm pretty sure this is Gareth. That Gareth is, kind of, the bad guy, in a way. But let's dive in, okay? Alizarin Red Exhibition. Good evening, everyone! It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to the Alizarin Red Exhibition. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the painter's death. Explore Gareth Leigh's masterpieces in the current expedition. See his development as an artist and dive into his world. Okay, so this takes place 100 years after Gareth died in the fire in his mansion. So the whole mansion was on fire, but apparently some of his masterpieces survived? Huh. Or were they already, like, out of the building before the fire happened? Ah, here we go. Oh, we can click on them. Yay. Okay. All right, let's start with this one. Self-portrait, 1919. Okay, so Gareth had brown hair, so the other one must have been, it was Zachary. Zachary is not the character we played, but he played a very important part. 1919. the only surviving portrait of a Gareth Leigh. It is It was in possession of his brother, then donated by the heirs to the exhibit. It's also believed to be the last self-portrait of the painter. It depicts the painter in an upright posture, standing next to a decorated frame. Mastery of technique and precision shows influences from the Dutch Golden Age. A sharp focus is placed on the eyes, as Leigh himself stated during an interview that the eyes are the mirror of the soul. Oh, yes! Okay. So, that's gotta be Zachary, right? He took up painting to keep his emotions in check. The slow strokes of the brushes, the toxic smell of paint, they had a calming effect on his ticking anger. And he was admittedly good at it. But something had changed since he had started spending time with the new butler. No matter how calm and controlled he was towards other people, Gareth knew that Zachary was a wild beast. And he had a particular delight in provoking that beast when he had the chance. His creativity hadn't been more vivid since Zachary moved in the Leigh estate. If it were for him, he'd always have his beloved valet burning either with passion or jealousy, so he could picture his flaming soul in his dream and in his paintings. It might look vicious from the side, but that was how he wanted Zachary to be, fierce and with no restraint. Exactly how he behaved when he was alone. When they were alone. His walking work of art, plasmated by his own hands. Did you write to your brother? Ah, yes. Zachary had no idea of how extraordinary that mundane action was, but he felt that something was odd. The Leigh brothers hadn't been talking since the scandal. Everyone knew this except him, and Gareth explained nothing. He wanted to maintain at least Zachary separated from his family affairs. The only one not to know, and the only one that saw a different side of him. Okay, so he's keeping Zachary in the dark about some things because he's like, no, I want you to see me this way. Do you have any siblings, Zachary?
No.
Oh, we got some voice acting. A wife, maybe?
No.
Nah. He don't. No, Master Gareth, I'm all alone. Calm and collected again, for a moment, Gareth wanted to see him squirm, to break down about being so alone. But Zachary didn't even sigh. Nobody would ever go search for him, and he knew it very well. If the master wanted, he could have trapped him in the mansion against his will, and he would have nowhere to escape to. Oh no. Super sad Zach has nobody. But that... he could have trapped him in the mansion against his will, and he would have nowhere to escape to. That is such a dark sentence. Especially when you know what happens. Gareth always left a door gently open on the way out. While he didn't forget about repairing the caravan, he steadily stopped to remind the servants to fix it. It wasn't certainly his priority, but it looked like Zachary didn't want to leave either. Believe me, it's better like this. I seen that blush. I don't particularly get along with my family.
Huh?
What do you mean? Of course, he didn't understand. The slight relief of knowing that Zachary hadn't faced the belt made him grin a little. Oh, so he faced the belt. So, your family did a physical punishment. I'm sure you got spanked with that belt a few times, right? At least he was spared. In the end, he shook his head. He didn't want to talk about that. The first image that came to mind was when, being a child, he had to throw a pot to the ground to get some attention from his parents. The vase shattered, and he was whipped so hard with a belt he thought he would shatter too. Silently, he embraced Sakurai. It was probably too late. He latched onto him as his only source of love and comfort, wishing he'd never leave him. Or he would be shattered to pieces, again and again. Oh, wow. So, Gareth was abused as a child, and Zach was not. And Gareth seems to be latching onto Zach, maybe for comfort. It is so crazy seeing his room like this. Because deep inside was a little RPG Maker game. So I remember his little room like that. And now we get to see it in this form. And I'm like, wow. But that is still a fancy bed. Shh. She's listening. Gareth glanced over the door with the impression of having seen a shadow slowly fading away. It was Hilda. He recognized the sound of every inhabitant of the house. Nothing would miss his control. And what if she listened? I don't mind, Master, but is this the right thing? Ooh, zoom in! That was the cruelest thing he had heard from Sakurai's lips. He liked that. The attention, the competition, the spark of jealousy that suppressed Sakurai's accommodating nature. Hilda wasn't a threat. Threat? Hilda wasn't a threat, but he carefully planted the doubt that he preferred her music or her cooking skills. He's doing this on purpose. He wants to see them, like, compete for each other. He wants to make Zach jealous, so he'll compete. Oh my gosh, boy. He wasn't seriously trying to make Sakurai feel disposable and replaceable. He just wanted to relish in the amusement of seeing him defend his position for a week or two. In the past, he had been the one pitting him against his brother to battle for the affection of his father, and he saw nothing abnormal in that. Weren't all the families and relationships like that after all? So he thinks pitting people against each other to vie for attention from someone is how it's supposed to happen. Proving his affection was normal, Gareth thought, and he just wanted to prank Sakurai for a while. I'll take care of her, don't worry. I've known Hilda since we were kids. I'm sure I'll be able to soothe her.
Huh?
You are? Hang on. Turn the sound down a little. Sakurai's gloomy stare was looming over him. He wasn't satisfied by that reply, but he wasn't in a position to voice it. By looking at the rage fermenting in his valet, he immediately thought of a color to express. It was a subtle feeling. Subtle? Why is that a word I'm stumbling over today? It just feels wrong, but I know it's right. It was a subtle feeling, but intense enough to see it before his eyes. He closed the curtains on the setting sun. For one that was so used to carry the burden of everything on his shoulders, always in control, always vigilant, forcing to keep his emotions in check, letting go was so refreshing. But only because he felt safe with Sakurai, and it had to mean something, because he barely knew anything about him. Why did it have to be him? He had yearned So much for unconditional love. Oh, this is interesting. I like this. We're getting like little like tidbits of the story. Oh my gosh. I just noticed these are flames. These are flames because the place went up in flames. Okay. I know it's a connected story, but I'm still saving. Okay, did I need to go in order, or can I do them out of order? I think this is the mansion. The Mist Was Full Sound, 1918. One of Gareth Leigh's early works. The painting portrays a lookout tower visible from the Leigh estate, where the painter spent his childhood with his father and his younger brother. Though never ungrateful for his upbringing, he described those years as uneventful, quiet, and lonely. The mist surrounding the castle conveys a sense of abandonment. The palette evokes the melancholy of Whistler's tonal studies. You can observe a solitary figure hidden in the woods, the only living being in the painting, a Yakunian horse freed from a carriage.
Huh?
I don't understand, Father. What does this have to do with me? Oh! The reply struck him in the form of a sudden slap. Gareth felt his left cheekbone burst with pain. Well before realizing what had happened, a hand reached out to check, and a new sting of pain crossed him. Contrary to his primary instinct, he didn't budge or straighten his posture to defend himself. His father didn't look pleased, but his disappointment didn't escalate. Oh my gosh, that is not a voice for that. I didn't raise you to be weak. I thought I taught you better than that. That I raised a young man. What a disappointment. Do you really think this has nothing to do with you? This is your responsibility, Gareth. The Esmore estate is not merely a place. It's built upon people, to be more precise, so that even you can understand, on different families. Their well-being depends on you, their jobs, what they put on their plate. They all depend on your guidance. I don't expect your brother to understand this, but I thought at least you could get it. Bring this family to ruin and be aware that you are dragging everyone down with you. Gareth frowned in silence. He wished he had the freedom his brother had in doing the first move, the first mistake. Oh, he envied him in his carefreeness. And he resented him. That freedom of choice was exactly what destroyed his own, relegating him to the role of the sole heir. It didn't matter that his father was treating him as a spare, faking that he was the most dependable of the two. Deep down, he knew that the moment the scandal reached the public, he lost the chance to leave the family estate to the youngest and choose his own life. And a sense of guilt started to slither. Running away from responsibilities just like his brother did was out of the question. What would happen if he brought the Leigh estate to ruin? Where would Hilda and Sasha go? They had nowhere else but the estate. And so did all the farmers, the maids, the servants. I will think about this. I need to clear my mind. With his cheek still bursting of pain, anger, and shame, Gareth walked alone through the willows to the creek. Every step he took, he tried to memorize every ounce of soul he walked upon, every ounce that depended solely on his choices, to ensure he wouldn't forget, to ensure he would understand the full capacity of his decision. He probably read something like that in an essay written by Rudyard Kipling, an essay that made him feel immediately guilty, privileged, and anxious. Isn't that the author of The Jungle Book? I think. Back then, he was still an impressionable kid, and a bit of a little goody two-shoes. Without realizing it, By the time the sun was starting to set down, he reached the swamp. He never visited it, especially during the golden hour. He usually reserved that precious time to the most beautiful landscape of the estate, a little windy hill on the back of the main apartment where he had the full view of the fields. The swamp was infested with insect wildlife, wilting weeds and a thick air. It had the distinctive smell of the algae festering in the waters, something he wasn't used to. And for him, an admittedly squirmish man, it was enough to feel uneasy and unwelcome. It was such a sorry sight, oozing misery from every corner. And yet, just as he was about to turn back, a horse ran right next to him. Gareth gasped, not expecting it at all, and tried to protect his chest by crossing his arms, but it wasn't necessary. With the corner of his eye, he noticed that the horse was bridled and something wooden and torn was being trashed in the run.
No way.
What on earth? A Yakuian horse? He'd never expected his trivial knowledge about horses would come in handy one day. Though he never saw a northern breed in person, he recognized the horse from art books and sketches in his possession. The thick mane, the sturdy statue, the primitive coat stripes. That horse didn't belong to his steed, nor to these lands, and it was clearly attached to something. His feet started moving on his own. It didn't take long to find what he was looking for. Desperately running across the muddy terrain, he found a carriage sinking into the swamp. The shaft was reclined toward the sky, the driver's seat still visible but trapped in the weeds. And an unconscious man, shoulders deep into the heavy waters, unable to emerge due to a leg trapped in the depths. Oh, so there was a wreck. There was a carriage wreck. Just as he saw him, Gareth stepped a foot into the water without thinking, and suddenly a burning pain from the freezing temperatures engulfed it. After all, it was mid-November. He gasped, glancing at the drowning man. He didn't have another choice. So, he did what nobody would expect him to, jumping into the muddy waters and getting his hands dirty, with his heart racing faster and faster. He was in time. He was just in time. Who did you save? Did he save Zachary? I mean, that would line up, but what happened to you? You seem like you were trying your best back then. I mean, in a way, you're trying your best in the present. I don't know. Okay, I like this. This is like different fragments of his life. Exit. No, we're good. We're still here. Okay, I don't know the order they go in, but I'm gonna go with this one next. Wind rose through the willows. 1919. Gareth Leigh spent many years of his life portraying the willows, leaving us a beautiful collection of romantic paintings. The influence of Impressionism is undeniable in the modus operandi, but the style is slowly evolving towards a post-impressionist movement. The culmination of this art style journey can be observed in the present painting, while Wind Rose Through the Willows, with a strong callback to the masterpiece of Munich and Van Gogh. Though, interestingly, interviews from the time states that Gareth Leigh had some kind of disdain for Van Gogh's sunflowers. I don't think any of these paintings were in the mansion when it burnt down, so they must have somehow been sent out of the mansion. Because I don't remember any of these paintings before. I could be wrong, though. It's been a while. Since he was personally involved in the matter, he had to check on his own. Or maybe he just needed an excuse to justify him not being that disinterested in their guest. For he had just one thought, comforting him. That the man didn't speak his language fluently enough to tell anyone how he was glancing at him before. If he happened to notice, he seemed a fairly secretive person. I'm Gareth, the master of this house. He introduced himself properly only in that moment, while the unknown man was drinking hot chocolate while trenched over 2 heavy winter coats over his shoulder. The chocolate was Sasha's courtesy, or, to be more precise, a direct order from him to his subordinate. The uniform was his courtesy too. It was the most practical choice and the only available fresh piece of clothing. Dressing him with his master's clothes was, of course, out of the question. Even though the jacket was stiff on his shoulders, it fit the stranger well enough, almost like he was part of the household already. So, was it Zack that they saved? Yet he was not speaking, and impatience started to build fast in Gareth. Well? The guest shuddered involuntarily, still shivering for the cold. He was about to stand up out of respect, but Gareth stopped him with a stern hand gesture. Then he sat in front of him on the armchair. Thank you, kind sir, Gareth. It was! Oh, was I supposed to do the other one first? Or is this one directly after that one? So, Zack was pulled off that carriage. So, he was the driver of the carriage. Was the other people already dead in the carriage? Or was he by himself? But he rescued him and he brought him in. They've got him cuddled up under different coats trying to get him warm. And he's got hot chocolate though. And there's a fire going. So, let's get him nice and warm. So that's how he ended up here in the mansion. Man, Zack has a bad life. I'm Zachary. I come from the east. Very well. Do you feel better? Yes, very much so. My cart. Where is it? I'm afraid it didn't survive the impact. It must be resting in the bottom of the bog by now. I wouldn't risk getting near it if I were you. Before it sank completely, I asked the servants to retrieve it, but the effort was fruitless. At least the horse had long escaped. It was the one leading me to you. Oh.
Huh?
My clothes? Burned in the fireplace together with mine. They were unsalvageable. You're wearing the uniform of one of the servants of the estate. We didn't have much that could fit your build. Your old watch should be in your right pocket, though I'm not sure if it still works after being soaked in the mud. His guest sat motionless in shock. Gareth had noticed the stern, emotionless expression, but left him process his grief in silence. He might as well lost everything with that cart, while sipping hot chocolate in a dark room stripped of everything that belonged to him except for the watch. And Zachary couldn't recompose a sense of familiarity with anything. Even the language is foreign. Normally, Gareth wouldn't want to deal with a broken man, but a sense of pride driven by the fact that he had found him created a thin connection between the two of them on his side. Oh my gosh, Gareth's like, normally I don't want to deal with people with issues, but I'm the one that found him. I'm the one that rescued him. It was strong enough to suppress the rising annoyance at the fact the stranger wasn't recovering sooner. Dude! Gareth! The boy almost froze to death in the water. It's gonna take him a minute to de-thaw. He might get, like, pneumonia and be in a cold. And, I mean, he also has to process probably all of his worldly possessions that he had with him are completely gone except for a watch that probably isn't working anymore. Okay? And I guess even his horse has run away at this point. Be patient, Gareth. Oh my goodness. You're lucky, Zachary. You could have drowned in that swamp. Gareth added slowly, putting him into the perspective. He had hoped for a spark of emotion firing up in that gaze, but it didn't happen. Instead, the soft murmur of his gloves being tormented against one another caught his attention. You're right. Take your time. If you need anything, ring the bell near the fireplace. Hilda and Sasha will take care of you. They're very dependable. I already instructed them to do so. Oh god. Okay. We got 2 left. Okay, I'm gonna save again. We haven't saved in a while. Whee. Okay, return. 2 Tears Shed in Silence, 1919. This work was commissioned by a private patron. It was generously lent to the exhibit. It depicts a mysterious seasonal waterfall, surrounded by distant peaks and a clear sky. The river runs on 2 different levels, creating a sense of depth and mystery. While the features appear realistic, there is no consensus on a definite location. It is possible that the subject isn't imaginary, depicted on the basis of the description. Moreover, the upper left corner was cut short to fit the frame. Why was it cut short? It says upper left corner. Was there actually something in the upper left corner? And wow, this is a colorful room. I like how colorful it is. Did he just go ham on the walls? Alright, wait. Very colorful. Wait, is this a den? Is this the den? Oh my god, it's been so long. Wasn't there one of these in the original game? Oh god, I gotta play the game again. I really do. Alright. Okay, we got some dancers here, it looks like. Well, this one's at least a dancer, like a ballerina. He felt so numb. The surge of creativity that kept him waiting for the evening to arrive, so he could lock himself into his art room, had died right after Zachary had mentioned his homeland. He had been rehearsing the entire conversation in his mind over and over and over, but still couldn't pinpoint a precise fault. Oh, there's the waterfall. I don't really care that things are not what they used to be. As long as you're here, Zachary, I can consider myself at peace. Zachary smiled faintly. That was exactly why he should have to leave. He was not that naive not to understand Gareth was developing feelings for him, and he wasn't careful enough to show he fell first. He was not naive not to understand, and he wasn't careful enough to show he fell first. So you fell for him first? I mean, it would make sense because Gareth rescued him. Gareth is taking care of him. Gareth is trying to be patient with him. So it probably shows his nicer side. And he's just like, yeah, Gareth's starting to care for me too. Living in a mansion bordering a huge patch of land, being the newfound muse of a painter, enjoying the fantasy, he would have done unspeakable things to him. And maybe Gareth sensed that everything it would take to make him lose restraint would be just a gentle push. Sweet. Worthy of Avakovsky's brush, I dare say. He praised the painter, leaning on him just to taste the little discomfort of being so vulnerable around someone else. A side of him that he had discovered after he came downstairs one day, with a bloody hand. Accidentally smashed a pot by bumping into it. That was the excuse. He also asked him not to tell anybody. So he bandaged a hand, tied a knot Gareth wouldn't have been able to undo alone by himself. You purposely put it in a knot so Gareth couldn't take it off, and he had to come back to you to fix it. The interview tomorrow will be fine. You will be fine.
Huh?
And I'll be brewing Earl Grey tea for you when you're done, don't worry. Summer was coming to an end. The slow buzz of the cicadas and the fresh blow of wind near the river made Gareth almost forget about dinner being served. He felt inspired. He needed to bask in the mist a little longer. You know, I was always fond of this river when I was a kid. It's a quiet place. People don't bother coming here since it's so close to the bog. I grew up by a river with a sunflower field. You'd love it in the summer. The sky was clear. You could see the foam from the Two Tears waterfall in the distance. And I've had my fair share of bogs. Oh, yeah, I bet he has. He crashed into a bog. But you traveled for so long. This mustn't be anything special or new. You've probably seen places I could only see in paintings. I wish I could show you. If you came with me, then you could stay here. Oh, everything turned gray. You've adjusted pretty well to your role as a butler. Even the others speak fondly of you. We get along, but that's it. I just wish I could show you. Think about the places. The beautiful artworks you could paint by looking at landscapes with your own eyes.
Not happening.
Oh, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that soundbite was not happening. And live as beggars? Sleeping in a cart around Europe. Art supplies run out quickly and they're expensive. You didn't think about this, did you? Not to mention, your country is in ruins after the fall of the Caesarian Empire. Why would you want to go back so bad? To a place that may not even exist anymore?
Huh?
What else could you want? And again, the butler measured his words carefully. He sensed something rising in Gareth's uneasiness. Something familiar by now. You know I don't belong here, Gareth. Looking at all the desaturated grays of the landscape painting, devoid of emotion and color, he felt a bitter resentment in him, biting him. The palette knife urged for the pigments to be scraped. The thrill of violently stabbing the canvas and tearing them apart screamed in the silence of his mind, to the point he felt the wrists pulsing, the tight grip around the handle burning. But, from the little mirror he fixed on the easel for the purpose of his self-portrait, he saw his miserable expression at the trembling light of the candle. He desisted. For now. I should start over. I can't think straight, alas. It was about 4 a.m, yet the wait for Zachariah to wake up so he could speak to him felt unbearable. He couldn't let go. His mind was fixated on the words, on his own breath. It didn't matter he had important affairs to attend to in the morning, and that staying up so late was counterproductive. He needed a distraction. Something to keep him occupied. That fool must be dreaming of the sunflower fields. What's so wrong with the willows anyway? The palette knife pierced the corner of the canvas like a throwing dart. Then Gareth rose up and left the room.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Master Gareth. Good morning, Zachariah. This is a cute room, too. Just as devoid of a... Okay, I'm getting a drink. Yeah, I did them out of order. I shouldn't have done his painting first. You know, you should always go left to right. But it is like when he met him, when he saved him, and then them, you know, this one. And then it's like they're developing a relationship in the self-portrait one, the one we started with. Oh no, I'm kind of worried about the last one. Oh no, the last one's not gonna have that moment, right? Right? It won't, right? Just as Okay, let's try this again. just as devoid of emotion as his destroyed painting was. When they met in the corridor, Gareth was tired and didn't care about the conversation anymore. He didn't take the opportunity to confront him, but the sole sight of the sunflowers made him nauseous. Thoughts soured during the night, and the embers of anger still brimmed within himself. His body was just too exhausted to act. The only relief he found in that interaction was a lack of passive aggressiveness in Zachary. Maybe he was just too used to that because of Hilda. Good. I arranged your schedule for today. Don't be so formal. It's ridiculous. I could cut the tension with a butter knife.
Huh?
Oh, well, about yesterday. I won't return on the matter. Just humor me and tell me you're gonna stay longer. I'm not used to making promises I'm not sure I can maintain. But it's not true. I have nothing binding me here. It's regrettable not having anyone to come home to, but it made it easy for me to embark on a journey. The Rostov Road didn't seem so lonely to me because of that. I miss my homeland every day, of course. But if I left abruptly here, I would leave you behind, and this I cannot do. I'm staying. He feels attached to Gareth. He wants to go home, but he can't. Okay, and we saw this one. Last one? What's this? It's these buttons. I'm afraid to press these buttons. Okay, I'm gonna save again. Yes. Okay, I want to press the button. Okay, it's skip button. Okay. I was just making sure. Okay, last one. Alright, guys, you ready? I'm not. If Time Never Turns Again, 1925. Gareth Leigh's last painting. Retrieved from the ashes of the Leigh estate. Along the preparatory sketch, is with no doubt authentic. Oh, so it did survive the fire. It required extensive restoration conducted by a team of experts, as it presented severe condition issues. And with pride, we can finally show it to the public in its former glory. The subject remains unknown to this day. Oh, that's the MC! That's the MC! From the first game, I forgot his name. I'm like, oh, I remember Zachary, I remember Gareth. Who was the... Oh, God, I'm sorry. Oh, because he did paint a picture of him, that is right. It depicts a man, believed to be the commissioner, with an inamic expression. The rusty pocket watch in the pocket has a cracked shell, with time stopped at 1:21. The haunting gaze is averted at the unmoving time, but directed at the viewer. I'm leaving. Uh-oh. No! No, it is happening. We are getting to that point. No, my babe. Oh, God. The reveal in the first game, it was like, oh, I gotta live through it again. Now. A single stroke, precise, sharp, a fluid movement of the hand. The most vibrant Alizarin Red tint spilled on the wooden floor while Zachary was holding his wound in shock. He stabbed him because he said he was leaving. Gareth could only gaze at the drops pulling one after the other. He was mesmerized. Still in a state of terrible euphoria after everything, he calmly walked upstairs. Each step was heavy, like he was dragged by a demonic force. Yet he was very much aware of what he was about to do, focused on a sole objective and annoyed at the occurrence he might be interrupted. Nobody stopped him. Sasha and Hilda were still sleeping in their quarters. As for Zachary, he made sure he couldn't utter a sound when he finished him with a blunt hit at the head using the back of the pallet with all his might. He had dropped on the floor with a muzzled gasp, leaving Gareth the impression he passed fairly quickly and peacefully. He wouldn't be going anywhere now, and he could take his time. What is wrong with you, Gareth? Oh, my baby. Ugh. He straight up murdered him, stabbed him, and then he freaking covered his mouth. Right? Made sure he couldn't utter a sound when he finished him with a blunt hit with his palette. With his, his paint palette. So I'm guessing it's probably like a hunk of wood. Oh my god, that's trippy. But it fits the moment. Oh my god. He freshened the hardened paint, lit up the candles. The stool was already in place, but he was so restless he wasn't able to sit. His body was shaking. Shivers ran along his spine. It was a painting of both of them together, but we only had this in the... Oh my god. Feeling immense power due to the mortal sin of taking a knife. He believed he was about to complete his masterpiece. He didn't even need to check the proportions with a brush. The image of Zachary lying cold on the floor was burned in his memory, so efficiently he could still see it as if it was in front of him. He brushed his lower lip with the thumb, regaining focus, and quickly started painting on canvas. No guideline of the sketch was followed, but the painting was gaining life on its own. Gareth now knew what precise color was Zachary's rage, fear, devotion, and how to paint the life he had seen drying on his cheeks. The blood on his hands hadn't dried out yet, and when he had doubts, he just needed to look down. The cursed masterpiece, for which he had his valet pose for so long, teasing him, talking about life, was exhausting all his energy, but he was willing for the portrait to zap some of his own vitality too. Zachary's love, fear, blind rage, and shock burned at a maximum splendor in a sublime moment of beauty. To witness that moment, he had to destroy him. And he wanted to capture that moment forever. Wait, so that is Zachary. Wait. Is it Zachary? God, I'm confused. Cause that looks like him. Okay, I'm confused, but he did paint Zachary. Oh my god, he fucking murdered pardon my French, but he murdered Zachary. And in the original game, Zachary's body is left. It is dragged in a room, and they leave him in the room and block up the wall and act like it it's not there. So he is forever left in the mansion. His ghost even comes back to try to fix things. Oh my god. So are we done? Are we done? No, I didn't want to do that. No. Exit. No.
Huh?
I didn't mean to do it again. I'm sorry.
No way.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Thank you for visiting the Alizarin Red Exposition. If you wish to do so, you can write about your favorite part in the comment section on the guest book. I hope you enjoyed the journey across Master Leigh's paintings and learned something interesting. Thank you for your time. So, Sakurai, the baby didn't deserve that. He just wanted to go home, Gareth. Gareth, I know you have attachment issues, but still. I don't know why I thought that was the MC from the first game. I'm sorry. But I think... I gotta replay Deep Inside. Oh my god. But yes. Okay. That was a journey. We got to learn so much about their past, about how they met, about the fateful moment that happened yet again. Baby. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. I do highly recommend playing Deep Inside or watching my Let's Play. Whichever you want, I do. And let me know if you want to see me revisit it again. Because I definitely need to. I definitely need to. I would love it. And it would be the new one. Okay, for those who don't know, I did play the game and I got stuck a lot on it, and it turned out I was playing the old build of the game that still had bugs. So halfway through the playthrough that's up on my channel, I switched over to the new version, the newer version that had all the bugs fixed. So I would be playing the newer version. I still have the older version, I think, for giggles, but I love this universe. I love this universe. I was not expecting something else for Deep Inside to drop. It is the 5th anniversary. Congratulations, Banya. That is amazing. I am so proud of you. I love seeing how far you came. You have come, and where you're going to next. Like, I do know they have a game in the works right now. Yeah. And I think Deep Inside is about to be released on Steam, actually. So this works out perfectly, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, go check out Banya's stuff. I'm never going to stop recommending Banya. Banya is amazing. And yeah, okay. Okay, I need to go to bed. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below. And, remember Zach fondly. Okay. Bye.